estate and finance expert and goes to bat for you every day as your consumer advocate. Your host, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth. Centered around real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, and most importantly, we want to engage you in an effort to help you win in any marketplace.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Now, I want you to pull out your smartphone, save our Consumer Advocate Hotline number in your phone. It's 813-917-1894.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-917-1894. Don't forget our number. We want you to bookmark our website, consumerqb.com. You can find current events there with our events that we have happening, live events, gratitude parties. You can also see links to all of our expert contributors, over 80 show partners now with the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we all want to help you win real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, medical, insurance, all types of ways that we can help you win here with the Quarterback Show. And we don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show's for you. And this segment is brought to you by Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora in St. Pete Beach. It's the first new hotel built in St. Pete Beach in decades. Spanish ancestry meets cool Mediterranean attitude. It's a whitewashed Mediterranean palace with expansive luxury suites that overlook the intercoastal waterway. They got beautiful rooftop yoga on the weekends and an awesome restaurant on site. The Castile restaurant is a beautiful restaurant as well. Excellent food, wonderful food there at the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show, the Hotel Zamora. Now, make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you when you book your reservations, and you're going to get 10 to 20% off of your room stay just by using the QB code, REQB code. And let's go around the horn now, make our introductions. Back in studio, my friend Ron Fuller, Centralized Showing Services. Welcome in, sir.
Brandon, it's great to be here. Going to talk about missed showings, record keeping, and we're going to talk about Generation Y.
Generation Y, interesting. Also, we're going to go through the top 10 statues in the world. I'm going to talk about that. Interesting content lined up for you. We're as well expecting a phone call in from attorney Jeff Thibault with Thibault Law. IRS debt resolution attorney, can help you with bankruptcies and all types of great stuff when it comes to your financial solutions, as well as William Crowley, a.k.a. the Credit Magician. He's going to be calling in, educating us on what's happening out there in the world of credit, identity theft, prevention, and recovery. And I want to remind you to check out our book on Amazon, Become the MVP in Your Industry by Surfing the Radio Waves. Have you ever wanted to own your own radio and TV show but didn't know where to start? Then this book is for you. Utilize Brandon's proven methods for success and become the most valuable player in your industry by harnessing the power of the radio waves. And also, these days as well, a lot of people are doing the podcasting rather than doing a full-blown buying broadcast and paying for the radio airtimes and things of that nature. They're doing podcasting, so you can really do that. You can be featured as the authoritative expert for your space and really help you grow your sphere of influence. It's all about having a larger sphere of influence, and ultimately when you write your own book as well, you know, you have that glorified business card and you're able to set yourself apart from the competition, be an innovator in your space. And so I'm Brandon Rhymes. I'm the host of the show. I'm also the owner of Platinum MVP Realty and a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay. I've been featured in Florida Realtor Magazine, Top Agent Magazine, the Tampa Bay Business Journal, and the Tribune. Recognized for innovation with marketing, also a former USF football player, played on the inaugural football team at the University of South Florida. So that's where a lot of people say, well, what's the quarterback about? I said, you know, it's a metaphor. I'm helping quarterback transactions for our listeners out there, our small business owners as well. We've got a big event coming up. This is going to be a huge event, our biggest event yet, and it's a business growth seminar and a rooftop happy hour at the Hotel Zamora in St. Pete Beach, our hotel partner. And we want you to please RSVP for this free event, Friday, March 24th, 3 p.m. at 3701 Gulf Boulevard in St. Pete Beach, the Hotel Zamora. And it's going to be great, pure content, the 7 key factors of business growth, as well as 6 principles of mastering persuasion and influence. Also, online digital marketing. Learn how to beat your competition online, how to rank on Google, search engine optimization, pay-per-click marketing. And so it's a great event coming up Friday the 24th at the Hotel Zamora in St. Pete Beach. So we've got the digital seminar. We got the seminar going on 3 to 5. And then at 5:30, we're heading upstairs for a rooftop happy hour and what we call our gratitude party, because we have an attitude of gratitude. We're all about helping people, helping consumers win, helping our listeners win, and helping small business owners succeed in their plans. And I've got a couple of hot listings I want to let you know about. I've got 2606 North Valrico Road in Seffner. Now, this is a beautiful property. It's 84 acres, wooded and zoned ARGPD, planned development, located off of Valrico Road, convenient to I-4 and I-75. Listed at $1.79 million. Great buying opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay. And I got another property here in Hernando Beach, 0 Shoreline Boulevard. This one's a little more affordable, around $95,000. And it's it's 3 waterfront commercial lots off of Hermosa and Shoreline in Hernando Beach. Great opportunities from the real estate quarterback and Platinum MVP Realty.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
All right, so we like to kick it off with a little bit of personal development each show. We want to talk to you a little bit about today is about developing the discipline of clear thinking. And what you want to do is slow down. You want to have slower thinking when it comes to big decisions that you may make in your life or your business, most notably those that involve money, relationship, or major business changes in your life. So developing the discipline of clear thinking, Thomas Edison calls thinking is the hardest of all disciplines. And the rule is you want to think on paper, write down all the details, the pros, the cons, the cost, and what all involved with that decision. And think about it as a bucket of silt. If you've got a bucket of silt and that bucket is water with silt, right? So the silt, the longer you let the bucket sit, that silt's going to settle to the bottom. And that's what happens in your mind. When you develop the discipline of clear thinking, you're going to be able to think about the overall concerns. What are the consequences of not making the correct decision? And the rule is fast decisions are usually wrong decisions. So developing the discipline of clear thinking is crucial to your success. All right, so we're back here in studio live from iHeartRadio. That's your 2-minute audible from the quarterback show here. So let's jump right into it. I got Ron Fuller back in studio, Centralized Showing Services. And what are you seeing out there, Ron?
Brandon, it's great to always be here. Getting back to clear thinking, one thing that I have found personally is when I fast, about day 2 or 3, my thinking gets extraordinarily clear and focused.
Wow.
Typically, I'd fast sometimes for health reasons.
Yeah.
Sometimes just to hear from God. But I found that my thinking is absolutely focused. It amazes me. It's as if garbage and the noise, the electricity of the day, all the media just kind of pours out, and my thinking is extremely focused.
Wow.
So it's
That's
interesting
cool,
you talked about that.
Yeah, that's interesting. You think about the Master Cleanse. My fiance now, she's done the Master Cleanse before. She went like 12 days, 10 or 12 days with that. I think the longest I lasted was 2 or 3 days. A little harder for me, but yeah, you know, that's a really cool thought process there when you think about fasting and the benefits of your body.
I did a 30-day organic juice fast.
Wow.
It was intense. Now, in the 20s, I had incredible, insane energy. Couldn't believe it. But that is something that's not for everybody, and I lost a lot of weight. But hopefully I lost a lot of toxins as well. So
yeah, absolutely.
That was the idea of it. So Centralized Showing Service, I want to talk about my favorite subject, showings, or my least favorite subject, missing showings.
Right.
Now, what we do is, of course, we're there to answer the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to get these appointments secured. But question, how many calls have you missed, say, in the last 12 months?
Right, yeah, hundreds.
How about the last 12 weeks?
Hundreds.
Last 12 days.
Right.
Well, the idea is that one showing that's going to buy your home, you don't know which one it is. Are you willing to lose showings? Are you willing to miss showings? It's a critical piece of the business. The first step in selling your home is getting someone to come see the home.
Right.
And if you're missing the showing, you're missing opportunity. And, you know, it occurs to me from the seller side, what a shame it is to lose a showing as the seller. But let's suppose you're the buyer and the home you really wish you would have bought, you just never were able to show.
Yeah. When we come back, coming up after the break, we're going to talk more with Ron Fuller. We're going to talk about how he streamlines this business process for real estate agents and potentially other companies as well. And we've got attorney Jeff Thibault calling in as well. IRS Debt Solutions to help our business owners out there and also consumers understand more about the IRS and some of the new changes with that space. Also can help with bankruptcy law and other debt collection type activities out there that you see happening. So attorney Jeff Thibault is going to be calling in as well right after the break. Coming up after the break, and you're going to want to hear this. We're also going to talk about the top 10 statues in the world. Interesting show notes from our producer, Anthony, there. So stay with us. Do not touch that dial. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
If you were injured in a car crash, what would you do first? Who would you call?
You claim to be injured, yet you spoke to and saw an attorney before you saw a doctor. Is that true?
Yes.
Lawyers on TV tell you to call them first. You can, but should you? The law has changed, and you may find yourself paying your own medical bills if you don't see a doctor in the first 14 days. If you've been in a car crash, you need MyCrashMD, the interactive doctor visit, where you can consult virtually with a physician after you've been hurt in a car accident.
We can see you today. We'll take great care of you, regardless if you are at fault or not.
MyCrashMD is an actual medical visit with a doctor. No waiting in an ER, no wasting time driving around town. Download MyCrashMD free from anywhere and then see a doctor on any mobile device. Times are changing. If you don't get medical attention within the first 14 days after your crash, you could lose your insurance benefits. So if you've been in a car crash, help yourself and your accident case with MyCrashMD.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, owner of Rhymes Media Group. Digital marketing seminar coming up as well. Business growth and rooftop happy hour at the Hotel Zamora in beautiful St. Pete Beach. Mark down your calendar. Save this date. You don't want to miss this. It's the Hotel Zamora, St. Pete Beach. We got a rooftop happy hour happening on Friday, March 27th. 3 p.m. is the marketing content with business coach Action Leask. And also we're going to have Brian Hall, digital marketing seminar, 3701 Gulf Boulevard, St. Pete Beach. Pure content, action coach. We're going to have Patrick Lease there, and it's a digital marketing. Learn how to beat your competition online. Mark down this date, Friday the 24th, March 24th, 3 p.m., the Hotel Zamora, our official hotel partner. Also, a big shout-out to Michael Vogt, Back in Health Massage, helping people with neck, back, shoulder, hip, and leg pain feel better. Big shout out to my massage therapist, Michael Vogt, with Back and Health Massage, conveniently located in Tampa, right off of Dale Mabry Highway and Gunn and Bush there. And he's voted top 10 massage services in Tampa Bay by the readers of the Tampa Bay Business Journal's Best in the Biz Awards. Check him out online. He's got the best Google reviews as well. All right, so we're back here in studio live from iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. Also got a couple of hot listings here I want to let you know about. This is a lakefront, beautiful property here in Carrollwood, 15102 Lake Magdalene Boulevard, 5-bedroom, 3-bath property, waterfront with balcony views overlooking a ski lake. You got a boat dock right on the ski lake as well, just reduced down to $520,000 for this beautiful property here in lovely Tampa Bay.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
All right, so we're talking with Ron Fuller here. I want to go to the phones, though. In studio, we've got Ron Fuller, Centralized Showing Services, and on the phones calling in, we've got attorney Jeff Thibault. He's a debt resolution attorney, IRS debt resolution, as well as bankruptcy, and can help with those types of activities. So, hey, Jeff, you there, sir?
Yeah. How you doing, Brandon? Good to be here.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks for joining us. And let's dive right into it. You know, these days there's a lot of issues happening with IRS. There's a lot of things to concern. It's a rough waters to navigate when you have this type of debt and things happening in your life.
Yeah, there's always something changing, and especially with the new administration in the White House too. Is definitely some new changes coming about.
Yeah.
One thing that I've been reading a lot about lately is the Obamacare reporting requirements. Trump has signed an executive order essentially allowing the IRS or requiring that the IRS still accept tax returns, essentially not claiming whether you had health insurance or not. So whereas he can't undo Obamacare without Congress's assistance, they're essentially just not requiring that you tell them or not whether or not that you have the health insurance so that they can impose a penalty. So it's certainly kind of interesting. Obviously, the penalty is still technically in place, just the IRS won't know about it.
Interesting.
Submit to them that you didn't have health insurance during the previous year. So
right.
That's one kind of interesting thing, I guess, kind of a back way of not undoing the law, but at least changing the enforcement of it, in the meantime.
Right. And the executive orders, they don't have to be ratified. Those are pretty much going through the process as he's wanting it to go, or do they have to be approved?
No, they don't necessarily need to be ratified. I mean, to some extent, laws that are actual statutes don't deal with every little detail, and they might put in place like the substantive law, but they don't necessarily put in place every detail as far as, how it'll be implemented and, what offices handle what and, what positions do what. So, there's always some leeway, I guess, with each individual agency, how they're going to implement, the new laws.
Right.
So, those kind of things are essentially done by a rule that, the regulation that the individual agency is bound to follow. Nothing that's really put in place by Congress. So, there's definitely some leeway.
Gotcha. Now, the bulk of your practice is helping people with debt. Is that right, Jeff?
Correct. Yep. We help people resolve their IRS issues, employment taxes and income taxes, and any other debt, whether it be credit card debt, mortgage debts, business debts. We represent both consumers and businesses as well.
That's right.
And
it's a space that's confusing. It's a confusing space. I think a lot of times when people are dealing with, they're overburdened with debt, they don't know where to turn. What would be your call to action to these folks, when they're in this position?
The biggest thing that people can do is always to just stay on top of it. The biggest problem, I see is when people, get overwhelmed by it, and that turns into, them avoiding it rather than facing it.
Right.
It's guaranteed to only get worse when you do that. Yeah. So a lot of times I have clients come in with stacks and stacks of letters that are unopened from the IRS or debt collectors, that they've just been collecting for, sometimes several years because, they open the first few and they just know it's going to stress them out.
Right.
They aren't ready to deal with it, and literally just throw them in a corner in a box. A lot of times there's something, detrimental in there that gave them, some period to, take some action or contest something. And the funny thing about the IRS, even compared to pretty much any other debt collection or pretty much any area of the law, is it kind of works backwards. Usually, obviously criminal law is kind of what people, are more familiar with the process, seeing it on TV and everything.
Right.
Is that, you're presumed innocent until the government does their job to prove otherwise. It's kind of the same thing in civil lawsuits. So, even in a lawsuit from a credit card, they sue you, get a judgment. They don't get to collect any property until a court tells them they can and says that, yeah, you're entitled to a judgment and you're entitled to use your judgment to essentially, enact this wage levy or, go after assets. The IRS kind of does it the other way around. The IRS says, we're entitled to it. You have a certain, and we're doing it.
Wow.
So, you'll get a letter saying essentially, or be notified that your bank account could be frozen, for example.
Right.
And I mean, technically, you should have been on notice that could happen, but most people don't understand the law. I've read it that pretty much that could happen anytime after you owe a debt that's unpaid, and they send a series of reminder type letters. But when the IRS does that, they just seize your property and then tell you have a number of days to tell them why they shouldn't.
Right. Yeah, and it's frustrating. I can imagine how frustrating it is. You could also help business owners. By the way, if you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, and we're talking with attorney Jeff Thibault. He's an IRS debt resolution attorney here in Tampa Bay, highly respected in the space, and he wants to help consumers out there. And what I was saying, Jeff, a lot of times is that whenever you have these debts as well and you're a business owner, you have the opportunities for offer and compromise. That's something that you help folks out with as well.
Correct. Yeah, there's a variety of options to resolve things. Bankruptcy is a great tool. Offer and compromise program is as well. There's payment plans. We can reduce penalties. Just this week I've been working on a case, an individual that got audited and was assessed essentially like another $75,000 over a couple years of taxes. But on top of that, now there's about $40,000 of penalties. We'll likely be able to get the penalties removed at least because it was kind of an innocent mistake based on some bad advice he had gotten from another accountant. But, there's certainly a various amount of options to resolve everything. It's just based on, the unique goals and, details of each person and each business. But, our goal is, I hate to see businesses go out of business because of IRS issues. I've seen it happen where IRS agents literally come to a business to close down their doors and, seize assets. And, sometimes it might just be, a business that has $10,000, $15,000 of assets, maybe a couple trucks, and now you have, employees that are out of work, in a business that's shut down, a local business usually. So
the trickle-down effect is virtually endless when you have businesses go out, fail like that. So we've got about a minute left here, Jeff. What's final words of advice, nuggets of advice for our listeners out there, maybe even a call to action?
Like I said, if you receive any notices or from any debt collector, especially the IRS, or if you know that you have a problem, or sometimes this time of year people are preparing their tax returns and they know they're not going to owe, or that they are going to owe, especially the realtors, self-employed individuals, independent contractors, they're 1099 and haven't been making estimated tax payments. Don't just file the extensions to file tax returns to buy yourself another 6 months. You're really not changing much. If anything, you're probably just increasing your penalties. But get a head start on that problem because it's certainly not going to get better on its own, that's for sure. So,
yeah.
Seeking the advice of a professional like myself or an accountant, to, or in any area really. A small fee, or in case of most attorneys I know, free consultation goes a long way to at least give you the information and the tools that you need to at least know what's going to happen and what options might be available.
Sure, yeah. Shoot us a text or a call at 813-917-1894. If you or someone you know needs help in this space, give us a call or a text, 813-917-1894. We'll put you in touch with attorney Jeff Thibault, IRS debt resolution attorney, can help with all types of different debt resolution attempts. So, Jeff, thanks for calling in. We appreciate you.
Not a problem. Thank you.
All right, after the break, top 10 statues in the world, as well as more from Ron Fuller here, Centralized Showing Service, expert contributor on the Quarterback Show, and some great content coming up. Do not touch that dial. Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
If you were injured in a car crash, what would you do first? Who would you call?
You claim to be injured, yet you spoke to and saw an attorney before you saw a doctor. Is that true?
Yes.
Lawyers on TV tell you to call them first. You can, but should you? The law has changed, and you may find yourself paying your own medical bills if you don't see a doctor in the first 14 days. If you've been in a car crash, you need MyCrashMD, the interactive doctor visit, where you can consult virtually with a physician after you've been hurt in a car accident.
We can see you today. We'll take great care of you, regardless if you are at fault or not.
MyCrashMD is an actual medical visit with a doctor. No waiting in an ER, no wasting time driving around town. Download MyCrashMD free from anywhere and then see a doctor on any mobile device. Times are changing. If you don't get medical attention within the first 14 days after your crash, you could lose your insurance benefits. So if you've been in a car crash, help yourself and your accident case with MyCrashMD.
right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes here, Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty, and Rhymes Media Group. We got a business growth seminar coming up on Friday, the 24th of March, 3 o'clock at the Hotel Zamora in St. Pete Beach, 3701 Gulf Boulevard. Learn more to earn more. How can you beat your competition online? We also have business coach, action coach there. Patrick Lee's going to be in the house as well, helping us with also business content, how to grow your business, the 7 pillars of success when it comes to business growth. So mark down your calendar, the 24th. On Friday, the March 24th, 3 p.m., and then we're also having a rooftop happy hour afterwards as well, 5:30 p.m. on the rooftop of the Hotel Zamora with beautiful Gulf views of the Mexico. All right, got a hot listing here. I got 15807 Bridgewater Lane in Tampa, just reduced down to $249,000. Another waterfront, beautiful property, remodeled at 15807 Bridgewater Lane in Tampa. 3-bedroom, 2-bath property in Country Place West and beautiful Tampa Bay. Compliments of Platinum MVP Realty. And this segment is brought to you by the Maids Cleaning Service. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. Big shout out to the Maids Cleaning Service. 24-hour, 100% satisfaction guaranteed by the maids. They are referred for a reason. All right, we're back here in studio live from iHeartRadio, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m., your most important hour on the radio. We also have a weekend show as well on a popular FM station here in town. And we're back here in studio with Ron Fuller, Centralized Showing Services. And what else are you seeing out there, sir?
Well, I'm looking forward to diving into Generation Y. But just to cap off, you don't want to miss showings, folks. So if you're a home seller or an agent, give us a call. We'll get you set up. You will not miss showings. We'll make the showing appointment process so much better for you at all parties. And also keep records as well. We document every touch, everything that ever happens with a showing. We document it, so we keep records. But, Brandon, I want to talk about Generation Y.
Okay.
So this is so interesting. You know, when I saw the legal drinking age was the year I graduated high school, made me feel really old. Now, Generation Y were born during the years I graduated high school, so I am certainly very old.
What exactly is Generation Y?
Glad you asked.
Yes.
Well, to answer your question in 2 parts, Brandon, first, it happens to be the #1 buyer segment of homes.
Wow, interesting.
Now, through our glasses here in Florida, we may not realize that because we're used to retired folks. People are empty nesters, people that are coming down to retire in the sunshine. But nationwide, Generation Y is the #1 buyer market. And who they are, second part of the question, is they were folks that were born in the early 80s.
Okay.
Now, some really interesting statistics on these folks. First of all, they communicate quickly. So what does that mean? That means communication is quick, it's brief, texting, they're very tech savvy.
Right.
And what really was interesting to me, Brandon, is Generation Y tends to change jobs more frequently.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we went from the World War II generation, tended to be loyal and tend to stick with something.
Right.
Generation Y tend to move and flourish with jobs. Back and forth.
The grass is greener.
Grass is greener. They're not afraid to change jobs. That could be part of it. But I found that to be very interesting.
Yeah, it is. When you think about different generational gaps, different perceptions with, you know, a lot of times I think about my grandmother. You know, the day after she got married, she's back out in the field working.
Yes.
You know, like yeah. That was a hard working generation.
Oh yeah.
And now, of course, you know, we've talked about it a lot. A lot of the folks a lot of the younger generation it's a me generation. It's more of a instant gratification. You know, as a matter of fact, on the way into the studio today, I saw a sign on the side of the road. It said "Antiques manufactured while you wait." You know? So
nice.
Just a little joke for you there, but yeah, you know, that's kind of the mentality that we have, and not everybody as well. You know, we have intelligent listeners out there. This is Intelligent Talk Radio,
yes,
not our listeners, but we're talking about, you know, a lot of the folks that we see, they don't have the respect. You know, that's one thing I love to rant on is, you know, the lack of respect for others, and even if it's a political thing, this is not a political show, it's not a religious show. We're talking about, but you know, when you think about our president or our senators, whoever it might be, there's some good in everyone. So I hate it when I see it's such a one-sided slant and such a bad person, whichever side of the aisle you're on.
Yeah, Brandon, this is what I've heard from people that I respect, is to respect the position. So whether or not you voted for the actual president, you respect the position. And you respect what that person represents to the country.
Right.
So as Americans, we're to respect our president. That shows what our culture and what our values are.
Yeah.
Whether or not we voted for that individual. In fact, I would like to say that if you show respect for the position when you didn't vote for that individual, that's the most American you could possibly be.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's just like with the change. Anyways, we're going on a side bunny trail there. But if you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We got Ron Fuller here in studio. We also have William Crowley, a.k.a. the Credit Magician, calling in, Complete Care Financial Services. William, you there, sir?
Yeah, buddy. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. We got you. We got you loud and clear.
Right.
So I want to bring you onto the show here, talk about your business, but we also have the top 10 statues in the world. So I know we're kind of throwing a little curveball at you there, but so start thinking about the top 10 statues in the world. We're going to have you and Ron kind of do a little guessing game here. But go ahead, tell us a little bit about your business, William.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad to be back. I haven't been on in a while, but been kind of busy schedule. It's tax season. A lot of people are out there coming in to get their credit repaired. And I like to say they're getting their credit restored legally with our program. And we're really out there trying to help people to become proactive, because a lot of times people are reactive and they're waiting for things to happen or get turned down for a loan before they come to us. And I just heard you and the other gentlemen talking about how each generation's mindset changes.
Yes.
But one thing I know that's pretty consistent is that most people, no matter what generation, are extremely unfamiliar with the consumer rights that can protect them against the abuses of the corporate structure and even the government.
Yep.
So I try to tell people ahead of time, read those rights out there, the consumer rights. I'm talking about the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Be familiar with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and all other consumer laws that can protect you against these type of abuses. And then not only just read them, but activate and use these laws to do what they need to do in protecting your rights. Okay, because people out there have an assortment, an array of negative items on the credit report, and I continuously tell people throughout my presentations and speeches, etc., don't worry about the nature of the negative items on the credit report. What you should be more familiar or be more concerned about how these negative items can be removed legally by using the laws that are at your fingertips, being the Fair Credit Reporting Act.
That's right.
So don't be in distress if you have negative credit, bad credit, for instance, because there is a way out. Now, I'm not encouraging people to default on their debts and not pay their bills, but sometimes misfortune happens because we're in a very unstable economy.
Right.
And hopefully this president, which I believe he will, he'll stabilize this economy more than the previous presidents. But nevertheless, I think that's what's going to happen. We have to just protect ourselves, and there are numerous laws out there that can do that. So we tell people, remove this negative information using the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Study these laws yourself. Go to the websites out there. I know we're going to be offering a package at the end of my spiel here.
Yep.
So I'll send that package out, and people can become more familiar with their rights and how to use these laws. Now, an additional strategy that we use in our credit restoration program is what we call a validation of debt. And if people have collection accounts out there, a lot of lenders are telling people to pay collection accounts. I tell people the total opposite. Never pay a collection account, but also never ignore the collectors. We issue validation of debts in the form of challenging the jurisdiction of the collector who has done nothing but bought debts that have been charged off by the original creditor. When the original creditor charged off the debt, I want to make sure people are clear on this, it releases all parties of any financial obligation to that debt. So in that case, when a collector calls you who has just bought the debt depending on the dollar, issue a validation of debt to the collector. Don't ignore them, but don't pay the debt.
Right.
Challenge the debt through a validation of debt. So we're telling people to be fiscally and financially responsible and go after, challenge these debts that they say that you owe, and make your credit. You can make your credit report a whole lot better, and then you can become much more of a responsible person at the same time.
That's right. That's right. William Crowley, the credit magician, and Complete Care Financial Services. Stay with us after the break, William. We're going to jump into that offer of your credit package. We're going to give away 5 free credit packages. We're also going to talk about the top 10 statues in the world, and we're going to talk more with Ron Fuller here in studio. Centralized Showing Services, helping real estate agents and other business professionals, home sellers, streamline that process. And also a big shout out to Michael Lysenko. He's our safe money coach, helping people with their as a fiduciary on the investment side. Michael Lysenko, safe money coach, partner on the Quarterback Show. Go to our website, consumerqb.com. You can see links to all of our expert contributors there at consumerqb.com. Stay with us. Do not touch that dial. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
If you were injured in a car crash, what would you do first? Who would you call?
You claim to be injured, yet you spoke to and saw an attorney before you saw a doctor. Is that true?
Yes.
Lawyers on TV tell you to call them first. You can, but should you? The law has changed, and you may find yourself paying your own medical bills if you don't see a doctor in the first 14 days. If you've been in a car crash, you need MyCrashMD, the interactive doctor visit, where you can consult virtually with a physician after you've been hurt in a car accident.
We can see you today. We'll take great care of you, regardless if you are at fault or not.
MyCrashMD is an actual medical visit with a doctor. No waiting in an ER, no wasting time driving around town. Download MyCrashMD free from anywhere and then see a doctor on any mobile device. Times are changing. If you don't get medical attention within the first 14 days after your crash, you could lose your insurance benefits. So if you've been in a car crash, help yourself and your accident case with MyCrashMD.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, owner of Platinum MVP Realty, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, and Rhymes Media Group. We got a business growth seminar coming up, a rooftop happy hour, Friday, March 24, 3 p.m. at the Hotel Zamora in the beautiful St. Pete Beach. It's the first new hotel built on St. Pete Beach in decades, and it's our hotel partner as well. So we're hosting an event down there, a business growth seminar, talk about how you can beat your competition online, ranking with Google AdWords, Google searches, pay-per-click marketing, as well as business coach, action coach, Patrick Leese is going to be there as well, going over the 7 fundamentals of business growth as well. So you don't want to miss this. It's a free event. Go ahead and pull out your smartphone, give us a call or a text and RSVP for this event at 813-917-1894.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-917-1894.
Welcome to my house.
Give us a call or a text. You can also submit the form through the website, consumerqb.com. All right, so we've got William Crowley, the credit magician, on the line as well. And in studio, we've got Ron Fuller, Centralized Showing Services. So we're going to talk about the top 10 statues in the world coming up. But let's go ahead and have William prep this credit package that we're going to offer out there, William.
Okay, yeah. In the package, you will receive a ton of items. But primarily, we want to make sure that you can protect yourself against identity theft. So there'll be instructions in there on how to opt out. And we strongly encourage people to opt out indefinitely instead of just for 5 years. Mm-hmm. Also, you will have access or pamphlets on the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the Federal Trade Commission, even aspects of the Uniform Commercial Code. These are laws that are going to help you to become more proactive and fiscally and financially responsible with your life.
Absolutely. And credit is one of those misunderstood areas in life in general. We're not taught about credit in school. There's no credit police out there running around arresting people. And so what we want to do is we want to offer you, again, as Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate program, we want to offer the first 5 listeners to call in or text in to our hotline. We're going to give you a free credit package. It's going to teach you how to opt out of pre-screening, cut off all that junk mail coming to your mailbox, and reduce your chances of identity theft. It's also going to teach you how to obtain an actual free credit report. And here's a hint. It's not those guys jumping around on the TV commercials, strumming the guitars, barking like circus barkers out there. So it's also going to give you an opportunity to sit down with William Crowley, a.k.a. the credit magician here, the expert contributor on the Quarterback Show. So go ahead and text the word credit to 813-917-1894. Text credit now for the first 5 listeners. You're going to get a free credit package, 813-917-1894. All right, William, you ready to jump into it? Ron, you ready? Here we got the top 10 statues in the world. We want to engage you out there as listeners, and we want to have a interesting roundtable discussion. So top 10, let's go. Let's let William pick the top 10 here. You get one choice, and then Ron's going to have one.
Statue of Liberty.
Okay, that's the most obvious. So you got that one. So
William, man, you took mine. Darn it.
Stole your thunder. All right, Ron?
How about the Jesus statue over Rio?
Number 2 on the list, Christ the Redeemer, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. All right, William, back to you.
Oh, my God.
Back to you, top 10.
Statues, right? We're not talking about the Eiffel Tower. We're talking about statues, right?
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. Big.
What about the presidents on the mountainside?